Hey, what's up? I was gonna talk about Seiko, Rolex, and G-Shock. Yeah, basically, I'm gonna talk about the three levels to watch collecting. Really, there's only three companies that you should buy. You should only buy Seiko, Rolex, and G-Shock. All these other companies and brands um are really a waste of your money, and you're not getting your money's worth. So I'm gonna start with G-Shock. Okay, so when you first start out and watch collecting, I believe everybody should buy a G-Shock. If you could get a G-Shock for a good price, I mean, you obviously can because they're affordable. So you just pick up one, and that could be your everyday watch. You get it with a nice complication. Thing with the G-Shocks is you could see them at night, and I think they're very good for all arounder, and you could wear them at work. They're very durable watches, and they're shock resistant. All right, so now after you have a G-Shock, I think you could go to Seiko now, and you could just buy any Seiko that you like. But the thing with Seiko is like it's laying the groundwork before you go to Rolex and the higher brands. So Seiko is like entry level. So you would maybe buy maybe $700, $800, $900, maybe $1,000 above Seiko, because the lower quality Seikos, they're not necessarily perfect. Because I've bought one and it made me hate Seiko for a while, and then I came back to loving Seiko, because when I bought the lower level Seiko, it I really didn't. I liked it, but then I fell out of love with it. I bought one with a blue dial and like a brown strap. I think it was like a Day-Date. Yeah, and it had like a blue metallic dial. It has like big numbers. If you're a Seiko aficionado, you know what I'm talking about. You probably know the Seiko. It's like a dress watch. Yeah, so I went by the mall. I went by a store in the mall. I think it's called Macy's. Yeah, and if you're in America, you know Macy's. So all I have to say about Seiko is it was like my first like real automatic watch purchase. So I'll just say you should start out with G-Shock. Buy any G-Shock. G-Shocks are all good. There's no bad G-Shock. Really, most of them is good. If I was starting out now today to collect, I would start out with a G-Shock. Preferably, I would like get a special edition because I like the different special editions. And then from there, I would go into Seiko, and then maybe buy like a entry level high end Seiko, like something that has a good quartz movement. Like I wouldn't buy like a low cheap Seiko, because the cheaper the Seiko, the smaller the margins, because they have to create the piece, and it's gonna be made more cheaply. The parts and the labor and everything is just cheaper, so you're gonna get bad quality. I would probably start out with a Seiko. I would start out in Seiko and first see what I like in Seiko. Like I would buy the diver watches, the dress watches, buy the different things and get a taste for what I like before I move on to a brand like Rolex. And then after you buy the different Seikos and you get to see which one you like, and you feel for the divers, like instead of buy a Rolex diver, buy a Seiko diver first. Or if before you buy a Rolex Pepsi, buy a Seiko Pepsi first. Try it out first and see if it's for you, if you like this type of style, if it matches your style, if it looks good on you. And then if you figure it's for you, then you could just buy it, and then that's good as a beginner collection. And then from there, now you go to Tudor, because before you go to Rolex, you should start with Tudor. You don't want to make the chance of shooting over to Rolex and then regretting buying a few Rolexes, because it could hurt, because Rolexes are a lot of money. And you will lose money with Rolex, but you won't lose that much as any other brand, but you still will lose a few dollars. So if you want to save your money, I would go with Tudor. maybe buy a Tudor Pepsi, Tudor Chronograph, Tudor diver watches. And then when you get a taste for what you really know you like and what you want, which is your style, then when you make more money, you have a decent job, you have decent income, then you buy a Rolex, then you buy you buy the Rolex that you like. So if you have a Tudor Pepsi, now you would buy the Rolex Pepsi. If you had like a Tudor diver, then you would buy the Rolex diver, like a Submariner. And then from there you just keep stacking, going, and so forth. And then when satisfied with the Rolexes, then you could go and buy all these cheap, filler watches just to fill in space. And then when you satisfied with that, just be satisfied. Don't buy nothing unless you really need to, because you don't want to make this a habit of just buying, because especially now, due to the pandemic, you want to limit your liabilities financially. You don't want to spend more than you make. You don't want to overextend yourself, just for smart reasons. So then when you do that, then you should be set. And that's what I believe. I think to watch collecting, there's like 3 or 4 different tiers. There's like 3 sections. Like you start off with the digital watches, then you go to the automatic quartz, then you go to the automatic, and then you move up to automatic with different complications from different high-end brands that are Swiss, and you just keep going up and up and up. And then at a certain point you stop, because you can't just do this forever unless you're a millionaire. And if you're not a millionaire, you gotta just chill. Unless something comes across that's a phenomenal deal and, it won't hurt you financially to buy it, then you just grab it and buy it. That's all I had to say. If you enjoyed what I had to say, comment, like, subscribe. Thanks, I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. See you out.